Tim, you made some additions today on defense. Can you tell us about the two players you picked up?
Yeah, first start with Damien. Going back to last season, we felt that we didn't have the necessary depth, especially going down the stretch, to be a playoff team. With the injuries that we had and some lack of experience, we felt that we needed to fill a hole there. And Damien is a guy with his international caps. He can fill that hole that we need. So we're excited to have Damien. He's played in some of the top leagues around the world. He has the character and experience, and so we're excited to have him. And then Eric, obviously, he's a little bit younger than Damien, but he does have some MLS experience playing last year with Chivas. Many people know, many people do not know that when he was at Indiana, he was actually a forward on a national championship team. So they moved him to the back, and he's been progressing and developing as a young center back, and we've seen some exciting things for him. So we're excited to add him to sort of our stable of center backs. So we're getting there.
Are you done?
Done with all signings, or just done with center backs?
Done with the rebuild.
No, I don't think we're ever done. I think that when you look at what happens throughout the year between the travel, the international competitions, the Amway Championship, the Gold Cup, there are a number of things that are always fluid, and you have to be prepared to make additional signings in the event of an injury. But we're getting closer.
Can you tell us what's going on with Gilberto right now? The club said he's back in Brazil while you work out roster status. Are you trying to make a trade? Is there an expectation the league may change its rules?
No, I don't think there's an expectation the league will change its rules. I think the rules are set. I think that unless we hear otherwise, we're planning that you can only have 3 DPs. So we'll be very clear with that. There's no sort of hiding the ball on this one. It's just we're working through our options right now with the league, and there could be a trade, it could be a loan or a transfer. We're working through all our options, and we're hoping to have a resolution quickly, but we have technically until March 1. I think we talked about that.
So March 1 would be when you would, unless something happens, you'd be over the limit.
Yeah, it's March 1 roster compliance date, so you can only have 3 DPs as of that date.
How imperative was it to you not only adding players that have skill, but the character as well?
Paramount. I think that what we saw last year was that we had the talent level and we had great guys in the team, but there's certain times where we just needed to gel. And so this year we want to make sure that it's about the collective unit working together, which takes self-sacrifice, because it's not all about each individual. It's about what you can do to make sure that the players around you are better because you're around. So for us, that is one of the first things we look at when we're recruiting and scouting this offseason.
So it sounds like, circling back to Gilberto, that he's not going to be back this season.
Right now, unless things were to change, we have to be roster and budget compliant, so we would have to move him or one of the other 3 DPs.
Okay.
There's been speculation that Jovinko might come here earlier. Are you talking to Juventus about that?
We have not spoken one word with Juventus about that. So it's something that we would entertain, because it's nice to if we can get a player of that quality for the entire season, that would help our roster. But he's a Juventus player. We haven't spoke to them yet, and I guess we'll just see.
What's Luke Moore's situation? He's not in camp yet?
We're finalizing some things on his contract. He's under contract now, but we were talking about a new contract, so we hope to have him in camp next couple of days.
There was a rumor, Tim, about potentially Jovinko's brother. Something about that. I don't know if you've heard. Is there any truth to that, or?
No, not at this point. I think that it's a player that we're always looking to uncover sort of young players from other leagues around the world, and he's obviously a player that's of quality, but we don't we haven't really explored that option yet. But I suppose that's always going to be a rumor is when you sign one player. If he has a brother, hey, bring him too. So
or nephew.
Or nephew. Or nephew, yes. That actually happened, right?
You've also introduced Toronto FC. You also introduced Toronto FC2, the USL Pro team. I know a lot of the work has been on building the first team, but how are things going in terms of building a roster for Toronto FC2?
I think everyone saw that we're taking a long-term approach of playing the long game with the draft. We filled in a number of holes with the trades and signings for our first team, but I think the draft we're taking approaches. This is a long-term project with some of the players and the positions we filled. We had a number of draft picks through the first 4 rounds, really unprecedented in TFC history. So the way we're taking, this approach this year is about getting the TFC2 off the ground, allowing that team to facilitate minutes for some of these draft picks and some of our homegrown players and some of our academy players. So we're really excited. A lot of people are talking about it, but for me, other than maybe the building of this facility, nothing could be more important than the TFC2 in terms of filling out the player pathway for our academy players.
And how fluid are you guys able to be with Toronto FC2 in terms of sending players back and bringing them back to the senior team? Like, is there dates that you have to comply with, or is it just whenever you feel like going back and forth?
They have similar roster rules as MLS in the sense that you have a limitation numerically as well as sort of number of internationals you can have in your roster. There'll be a limit on, sort of a minimum level of Canadians you need to have in your roster. So we have no problem with that. We're actually excited about that. So yeah, there'll be rules in terms of the movement up and down, but I think we're waiting for the league office and to put those sort of in place, and I think that it's related to the CBA. So we won't know until the dust settles on that, how and what that will look like.